Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Keely and today we are finishing our Persian tile blanket. Alright, we have officially finished all the Persian tiles that we needed to make. We finished all of the small triangles, of which we needed 12. None of these ends have been woven in. With that, that just means I need 4 small triangles or large, I forget what it says in the pattern, but just 4 triangles for the corners essentially. Then I can start putting this blanket together. But before I start making those 4 corner triangles, I wanted to kind of show where we are at. And I think in my last video I showed the 3 that I did finish making, which were this one, and then this guy. Also, all the ends on those are woven in. What we've made this week is this really bright one. And I kind of stopped doing my method of weaving in as you go. I'm just trying to get a lot of these done. Here is the other one. And I will quickly go through all the triangles that we have. I think some of these I've covered already, but that one's pretty. And this one. These are some of the first ones I showed. I like this one a lot. It makes me think of like sweet tarts. And this one's like watermelon. That's what this one looks like. I think the purple with the gentle jade color really makes this one stand out a lot. I like this. I made this one today. And this one. And this was actually the first one I made. And square number 12, or triangle number 12. So now what I'm going to be working on is weaving in the ends for these 2 tiles, these 12 triangles, and once I have that done, I will actually crochet the 4 corner triangles. But I'm not going to work on that until I do that. Welcome to my yarn, sometimes craft room. Definitely yarn room, because you can see I've kind of got yarn everywhere, but I have these are like workout just foam mats, so I'm kind of using them as my blocking system for these tiles, because this is not big enough for the Persian tiles. It doesn't get enough of the corners perfectly, so I just have some T-pins and these foam mats, and I'm able to fit 2 of them. These have been blocking since the other day, and I have already blocked all these. Now that I have finished my tiles, I've been blocking them so that that's one less thing to do, because the pattern does say that, or it does actually recommend blocking everything before you start sewing everything together. So I'm gonna take these off and put them in my tile of blocked squares, and then I'm gonna add these on, and then when these are done, I'll be able to add the other 2 that I have in the other room that I have yet to weave the ends in. Alright, now that I have everything pinned, I'm just going to take this spray bottle. It's just filled with water with nothing else in it. It's just completely water. And I'm going to lightly spray the tops of these and kind of pat my hand over it so the water can kind of absorb a little bit better. And I'm just gonna leave these as is and let them dry, and they'll be all nice and blocked. All right, here is where we are at. I have 3 triangles left to weave in some ends. I have a whole big pile of scraps that will be nice for stuffing, and I've got my triangles blocking right now. So these are all the 4 small triangles that you put at the corners, and then these all go along the sides to help fill in some of the gaps. I've already blocked all of my Persian tiles and my granny squares, so those are in the other room. We just have these 3 squares left to weave in the ends, get these blocked, and then we can actually start assembling the blanket. So really exciting. We have used a lot of our yarn, and I think what I'm gonna do is to connect all the squares. I still have a lot of white, and I still have a lot of other colors, so I'm gonna use the white because it's like a nice neutral color. I'm gonna use the white to connect everything together, and then I'm going to kind of continue with the scrappy multicolored look, and the first couple rounds of the border I'm going to just use up some of the small scraps that I have that are just like really small, similar to this white here. And then I still have like a full skein here of the blue, so to kind of make it cohesive at the end, it's just got like some single crochet is what it looks like. I haven't fully read the pattern, but it just looks like some single crochet, so I'll just do blue around the end of the border just to give it some nice cohesiveness. So that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna finish weaving these ends, probably make some dinner, walk the dogs, and then everything should be dry and ready after blocking, because I am spritzing them with a little water to help them block, but after I walk and have dinner they should be dry and I should be able to start connecting everything. Alright, so we just finished weaving in the ends for our last triangle. I've got it blocking over on the side. I just laid out all my tiles and kind of rearranged some of them so that it looked a little cohesive. It's not really going to look cohesive because all of them are different colors, but two of them I have are green, and I didn't want the green borders to touch. I wanted a little variety there. But here is our first stack, and then the granny squares that are going to go there, our second row, the granny squares, third row, and fourth row, and then the granny squares there. You can see my granny triangles are still drying. The instructions now say that I'm going to be working single crochet to connect all of these, and I don't know if I'm actually going to do the single crochet. I like the method of doing the slip stitch that I've done for the Sardar crochet alongs, so I might do that, but I think there is kind of like a help FAQ tutorial video, so I may watch that just to see if it's easier. Either way, it's time to start connecting these panels. Alright, I just finished my two first stacks of the Persian squares with the first stack of the granny squares as well, and here is what we are looking like. It looks a little crazy, but it's all gonna come together real nicely. I decided to go with the single crochet stitching method to stitch these guys together. It does create a little ridge, but I feel like if I do actually use this as a blanket, I won't notice it as much. And I am creating more ends for myself to weave in because I am kind of skipping some of the triangles. I'm still waiting on them to finish blocking and drying, so I'm just leaving a stitch marker in on my loop so I can put my hook back in, and I'm leaving a good amount of yarn to then use that and work the triangle. So got a lot of yarn there. I did also just finish up the white that I started with, so I got to use up another scrap ball. I do have more white though, and this one's significantly bigger. I'll be able to use the rest of this very easily. So now that I've got this kind of connected together, I'm gonna pull over the other two stacks that I have so they're closer in my reach, and we're gonna continue on. I just finished connecting all the pieces. I haven't done the border yet, but I wanted to show y'all. We have a blanket. I have some ends on the back that I will need to weave in, but nothing too crazy. I am very excited. It is looking so good. I can't wait to start on the border here in just a moment and actually get this blanket finished. It has turned out way better than I could have ever expected, so I'm really excited to see the final product. We are getting so close to being done. I am on the 4th round of 6 and I am doing single crochet now. And you also change your hook to a G hook, which I don't know the letters for them, so I had to look it up. That's a 4.25. The only 4.25 I had was one of these boys hooks. So this is slow going, but it's not doing too bad. I was trying to finish off all my kind of smaller balls of yarn just because I didn't want to open up a new skein of yarn and I want to kind of keep with the scrappy look, so I'm just using up the rest of the yarn, and if that doesn't complete the round on the border then that's totally fine. I did however cut my blue here, which I have the grannies right here in this blue color. I stopped it because I had a lot of this and I was going around and it was going far, and then it got to a point to where it ended where it was starting, and I crocheted a little bit of the clusters continuing in the same color, but I didn't like how it looked with the same color on top of itself, so I did cut this one and I started a new color. I started the white, and now I have finished the white and I am starting on this orange auburn color. There's a decent amount of this as well, so we'll see how far this goes before I have to cut it again. I'm not sure exactly if it will make it to where it started because as you can see it started right here, but if I do get to that point I'll probably like change colors like right here or maybe even on this side a little bit. I'm really enjoying how this is turning out. I still have some ends to weave in on the back, but yeah, just I have 2 more border rounds to do and then this blanket will be done, minus the ends that need to be woven in. So I'm getting really close and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I did lay this on my dining table and I love all the colors together. I can't contain my excitement. I'm so ready to share this with you guys and to show off all my hard work. So I've been working on this for a little while. I just snipped my yarn because as you can see, well maybe, we're about to reach the orange again. So I have this much left, not too bad of a scrap. I really wish I could have been able to use it all, but that is totally okay. I am going to switch over to this yellow, and this is round 5, and I have, let's see, I have 2 sides left. So the side I'm about to transition over to, and then one more side, and that will be round 5 done. Then I just have one more round and then ends to weave in and this blanket will be done. I'm so excited. So with round 5, we are still using our 4.25 millimeter hook, and then after we are switching back to the 3.5 millimeter hook, and I think we're still just doing single crochet, but we are sizing back down to a smaller hook. Let's continue on and see how far this yellow gets us. Alright, so I have finished this blanket as you saw, and this was definitely a labor of love. I did stop weaving in the ends for when I was working on the triangles and just started working on the next triangle or granny square or whatever that I needed to get this blanket done. I did stay pretty good on working on the tile itself on weaving in the ends. I know for the last like 3 or 4 I stopped on like the last 3 rounds of weaving those ends in because I knew it wasn't going to take that long in comparison if I had just left all of them. So I started getting lazy and not weaving those ends in, but all in all, I mean, I still needed to weave them in anyway, so it still got done, and I am so happy with the result. And I'm also very shocked with how everything came together. If you've watched my last videos on this blanket, I did use a random color wheel to pick the colors for me. I did have all the colors picked out, but I just spun a wheel and let it choose what colors and in what order I would use those colors, and I am very pleasantly surprised with that. A lot of the tiles really came out just perfectly. All the colors worked well together and it just looks so good, and I'm just so surprised with how it came out. For the border, it is a little more cohesive, like you can see here on the very last round. I did all one color for Gentle Jade, and then you can see under that there's yellow, but you can see right here I had white, and then I went into this auburn orange color, and I was trying to use up a lot of my smaller scraps. That way I could just use them up, because I didn't really know, like they were so small that I didn't know what I would use them for exactly, so I just wanted to use them up. You can see that more here. Like I had just this little run of light pink and then the light green. I still have pretty much full skeins of powder blue, the oyster pink, the lavender, this nice vibrant purple, and then a lot of the others are they're pretty good size scraps. So this is the peach color that I started incorporating towards the end. But yeah, the smallest scraps are these right here. So the bluebell color on top, the lemon in the center, and then the auburn right after that. And then I have the Gentle Jade here, so it's still pretty full. I honestly could probably make a whole nother blanket with these, and I do have some blanket projects in mind. I'm definitely obsessed with making blankets, even though they do take longer, but I am very happy with this project. It did take me longer than I wanted to, so it took me 6 weeks in total, which I guess technically that's kind of on par with, for example, the Serdar cows. Those take 6 weeks to make, so I'd say that's a pretty good pace for this blanket if you work on it every week. But yeah, I'm in love with this blanket. I can't wait to have it on the back of my couch and just curl up with it. So I will say, I think my favorite tile, honestly, I think my favorite tile is this pink one right here. But I also really like this red one. But everything, like I said, everything together, you wouldn't have thought that it was just with a random wheel generator. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I love it so much. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to continue and see what other blankets or projects that I make along the way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see y'all in the next one.